is going on, you guys? My name is Rage and we are back once again with another Dark Dimension 3 playthrough and guide. In today's video, we're going to be walking through the next node, being node 11. This is where things start getting a little bit more difficult, so let's go ahead, talk about the roster I'm utilizing, and as well dive into the gameplay. With that being said here, you can see that one of my best characters right now in my roster is going to be Ebony Maw. He's going to be providing immense support for our team and really giving us that heal. I got him built up quite a bit just because I got lucky with that 6 red. Fueling energy into Ebony Maw and kind of synergizing with fellow Black Order is going to be Thanos here. And Thanos, once again, he's going to be shouldering damage with his taunts. He has that offense down, which is really nice. In addition to that, he's also going to be supplementing any cosmic characters next to Thanos with additional energy thanks to his passive. Next, we got Hela on board here, spraying the negative conditions that we can inflict upon the enemies. She's going to be great for disrupting any potential tanks, especially with her special. Last but not least, we can't forget about Greg and being able to soak damage, and that's just really going to provide and well round our damage overall for our team. Next, we are actually going to bring on board Proxima Midnight. This is a character I have actually not been utilized in any of the previous nodes. Got her finally on board with her unlocking at the tier 14 here, and she's going to be amazing in the sense that she's going to apply offense down for enemies and really be able to apply a stun when we need it, especially in terms of kind of making sure that enemy stays still and doesn't impact us further. Last but not least, it's going to be that extra cushion we need to get through the nodes. You bet it's going to be Minerva, the queen and star of Dark Dimension, with her healing as well as her revivability. These are the 5 characters that I will be bringing on board. So with that being said, let's dive right into the gameplay. Now with this node here, you are going to see that I don't actually have Proxima Midnight in the first real attempt here, just due to the fact that she wasn't actually built up at the time. So the 4 characters, if you guys can leave that middle spot empty, it allows it so that you won't have at least chain attacks kind of carrying forward across the build-up of your roster here. Once again, I do have to stress, I'm going to put in the link to the description below, you guys. I am utilizing Dutch Rudder. His guide has been truly amazing in terms of navigating these Dark Dimension nodes, in terms of, you know, how many characters we can take down before the next wave. So for this initial wave, you can see that we're up against, you know, Hawkeye, Deadpool, Hand Sentry, couple of Green Goblins, Juggernauts, as well as Mr. Fantastic. And really the key for this initial wave is going to be taking down the highlighted targets. We can take down a total of 5 enemies before the next wave. And really the key for this node compared to the other ones is that we do want to take down any of the Fantastic Four characters before they build up, because you're going to see that we'll be facing up against Human Torches later, and the more they build up, the more synergy they have. So that's why it's going to be extremely important to take them down as soon as possible. So overall, they don't do a crazy amount of damage when we compare these guys to the city nodes, and it is nice that for this we do actually have Minerva for revive too, and that's something we didn't have in the global. So if possible, I do recommend actually taking down Hand Sentry, just because Hand Sentry provides that shroud and that defensive capability for the team. And keep in mind again, a nice character also to take down is Hawkeye, because Hawkeye has the blind, the bleed, but also Mr. Fantastic, because as I mentioned before, you're going to see when the Human Torches start rolling out, that's really where this node can be a little dangerous. But I would take down the utility characters such as Hawkeye, Mr. Fantastic, and as well as Green Goblins do actually have quite a bit of damage as well. So Juggernauts do get a little annoying because they're tanky, but fortunately they don't do that much damage. So we actually do end up here just going ahead and finishing off Hawkeye. And at this point, keep in mind, 28 out of 30 enemies left. We can take down another 3, and that does and will spawn the next wave. As you can see here, I do opt to take down Mr. Fantastic as the 3rd one, following Hawkeye. And it's nice with Mr. Fantastic because thanks to Ebony Maw, he does actually give us that extra immunity and barrier due to the fact of him being a hero controller. And then what happens here is I actually do take down Deadpool here, just due to the fact that, you know, our Thanos did have a counterattack and that finished him off. So at this point, when it's down to 2 Goblins and 2 Juggernauts left, we can take down one of these guys before the next wave. So really, I recommend, if you guys have a hard time facing against tanks, I would recommend taking down one of the Juggernauts, or at least one of the Goblins, just due to the fact that the Goblins do have more damage. Personally here, I actually don't like it when we don't have that extra damage in terms of getting through a tank. So we take down Juggernaut there, and you can see in the next wave, it does actually spawn another sentry there. As you can see, you're going to see that we're also up against another Hawkeye, Spider-Man, Falcon. So this is a good cluster. The really mindful target we got to be aware of is actually two. It's going to be Sentry as well as Falcon, because first of all, Sentry has that protection, and then Falcon also has the speed up, which can be disadvantage to us, because if they get more turns, that's not good for us in the long run here. And personally, thanks to the abilities of, Minerva as well as Ebony Maw having really good scaling health abilities, you can see that this wave actually does drop quite a bit, and they drop pretty fast too. So Hawkeye is really one of the ones I do recommend, Falcon as well, and Sentry. But you can also see that the next wave actually does spawn here at 20 enemies. So unfortunately, one of these guys are going to stick around, and personally, I do opt to take down Falcon just due to the fact that he has that speed up. Sentry is a good one, but because of the fact that Falcon actually gives him more turns, that can be very highly dangerous for us. And as there was a good opportunity here to use Minerva's ultimate, you bet I used it on Falcon. And finishing off Falcon, you can see here that finally we do see the first synergy of the Human Torch, Mr. Fantastic, spawning with another Green Goblin Juggernaut, as well as Deadpool. So keep in mind again, the big one for this one is where it starts getting a little weird with the numbers here. Before, with the first two waves, 5 targets we were allowed to take down, but with this one, we could actually only take down 3. So the next wave actually spawns at 17 on enemies left. So out of this cluster, we can actually only take down 2 more. And the 2 I actually do recommend is, I kind of messed up in the gameplay here, but what I should have actually went for is the Human Torch, as well as Mr. Fantastic, just due to the fact that they have really good synergy together, especially Human Torch. No matter what happens with him, he's going to be able to cleanse any negative conditions on him thanks to his abilities. And then once he goes into his ultimate mode, he can do immense damage, especially with him having the offense up. With that said, you're going to see here how my team was actually wiped out. This is why Human Torch is so dangerous. His one ultimate ability, as you just saw there, took out 3-4 of my guys. And right from the get-go, even spawning that wave, you can see how quickly that ended. And with that being said, that's why it was a perfect time that I finally actually got access to my Proxima Midnight. So you can see her being added now here for that second real attempt at this. And we're definitely going to attempt this a little differently now that I have that kind of awareness of how powerful Human Torch is. So if you guys get to that third wave with Human Torch, maybe sometimes it is better to either if you guys have a stunner, I definitely recommend using a stunner on him. But if you got to make sure that he just uses his ultimate, so that way it's at least gone for a couple of turns for you to kind of re-strategize. That's actually not a bad idea, right? So that's definitely the route I went here. By having my guys being able to reset this node, Human Torch is not as dangerous, and he is going to be actually the first character we do go ahead and finish off here. So that is who I definitely recommend in taking down, especially from the beginning, if you guys can get to this wave. As I mentioned previously as well, unfortunately with this next wave, it actually does spawn right away. Per the guide, it does say 17 out of 30 enemies would spawn the next wave, but in actuality, what happened for me was maybe there was a revision in the past, but it is actually 16 out of 30 enemies. So in this case, we actually are able to still take down at least one more. And if you guys can, I do recommend trying to damage Mr. Fantastic as much as possible, due to the fact that you're going to see in this next wave, although it being small, there's going to be another Human Torch that we have to go up against. So that's why it's really key to kind of heal up. We already saw before what happened with that Human Torch, especially with Human Torch activating the ultimate. That completely knocked our team out of orbit, right? So unfortunately, that's why our Proxima Midnight is really good, but she's down right now, but that's why we're going to try and buy as much time as we can to bring her back, especially thanks to Minerva. You can see the energy is almost there for the revive. That's why I'm trying to stall here as much as possible and not trying to take them down before the next wave, because like I said, when you know which wave is coming, at 16 out of 30 enemies left, that's when you can kind of work that to your advantage and try to buy time. With that being said, sometimes it doesn't work according to plan, because you can see Hela's passive where she actually just does that extra burst damage after attacking. Did take out the Spider-Man. That's not what I wanted, and that is what it is. But you can see here another big threat here. We got a Falcon as well as a Human Torch in this next wave, and once again, this is going to be quite dangerous, but we got to finish off what we started. So I took the risk here. I saw that this Mr. Fantastic was quite low, but as well, on top of that, our Proxima Midnight was actually down too, and we need her ability. So I bring her back, which is really, really good. Then I actually go ahead and activate her ultimate, actually stunning Human Torch. So that's really what you want to do if you have a stunner, just to be able to slow him down from using his ultimate and kind of unleashing that on us in his powered up mode. With that stun in play now, you bet we're going to go ahead and just try to finish off Mr. Fantastic because, like I said earlier, we just don't want that synergy. But unfortunately, we still have to also be mindful of the Falcon, right? Because Falcon has that speed up. You can see how much damage he just did. Fortunately, our Proxima Midnight's still alive here, so you bet we're going to definitely try to heal up here, especially with Minerva's abilities, scaling health, always bringing us back from the dead, which is amazing. With that said, we just go ahead and focus all our damage on Human Torch now, taking him down. Unfortunately, as per the guide, 14 out of 30 enemies left. There is a lag right now, but the next wave is actually going to spawn right now. We just have a little downtime in terms of their turn. But you will see here that out of 30 enemies left, that does actually spawn another Human Torch in Mr. Fantastic and another Green Goblin. So you can kind of see where the stress comes from in this node. There's a lot of damage. There's a lot of burst. We have a Falcon we still have to deal with. That Green Goblin in the corner is also weak as well. But remember, we have to keep in mind of how powerful that Human Torch is because we saw earlier what he could do to us as a team. So fortunately for us, we had Ebony Maw's ultimate here, and that actually annihilates 3 out of those guys, so really cleans up the board for us. And you can see here now that kind of refocuses things here, really giving us that opportunity now to focus on the targets we gotta take down. So as consistent with the previous nodes as well, we have to take down Human Torch and Mr. Fantastic once again because of their synergy as well as their significant damage that they can unleash on our team. However, unfortunately, keep in mind as well, at 11 out of 30 enemies left, what I didn't account for was the fact that this actually is the next wave here where it does spawn as well. So that's why it can be quite heavy because these guys just start compounding on us. And that's really what you see here. You see that there's going to be another Sentry here just joining up the battle. You can see there's another Juggernaut and Spider-Man. But fortunately, we're nearing the close here. So out of 11 enemies left, you bet it's going to be the same targets, right? Consistent with the previous waves, you bet we gotta take down Human Torch just because he can unleash that devastating ultimate that can just wipe us out from battle. And unfortunately, with Sentry also being in this battle in wave, we gotta take him down because of his shrouding abilities. As you can see how pesky it is, especially when we want to take down the already weakened foes on our side here. With that being said, fortunately, with that Human Torch being the last one actually be done in this node now, this is really where I think a lot of players are going to start having a lot of success in terms of finishing this node because the Human Torches are really where they give a lot of players trouble. At this point, it's really just finishing off Mr. Fantastic, taking down Hawkeye and Sentry, the supporting character and cast in these nodes. And really, at that point, it's going to be really smooth sailing. You're going to find that Juggernaut's just annoying with his taunt, but that's quite all right because of the fact that we can still get by because they don't have that really big burst anymore, with the exception of Mr. Fantastic having those outbursts. So we go ahead here once again, Minerva using ultimate as a clutch, really scaling that damage, taking them down. And I love it when Hawkeye does pass because he gives, once again, sorry, not Hawkeye, Mr. Fantastic, because he gives us a hero controller immunity barrier thanks to Ebony Maw's abilities. And with that being said, these are the last 6 here, as you can see from the battle. So at this point, you know, we can see already 3 of them are weakened, right? We want to take down Sentry. Juggernaut's already weak, and he's tanky, as well as Green Goblin. After taking down these 3, you bet we can probably start building up energy then for the last node of the Cosmic Wave here in Dark Dimension 3. Finishing off those 3 just to clean up the battlefield here. At this point, you know, this is where I would start recommending in terms of just trying to conserve your abilities, trying to buy time because, you know, at the end of the wave here, you know, it's only these 3 left. And this is really where we want to start building up energy in preparation once again for the next node. So there you guys have it. Once again, cannot stress this enough. Dutch Rudder's guide is absolutely amazing for us in terms of predicting which characters are coming up. I definitely recommend it. Once again here, you're going to see here just reviewing in my past footage that this actually did take a total of 3 attacks. There was 2 real attacks really captured in the video here, but there's always that initial attack where I kind of just use that as an opportunity to soak up damage. Oh, my apologies, 4 attacks. But realistically, there was only 2 really strong attempts, right? So consistent with my previous videos as well, I always like to show the tracker here. I started Dark Dimension 3 at 380 days login, and as you can see, I'm at 399 now, so a total of 19 days elapsed since I've started. With that being said, thank you as always, you guys, for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.